This autumn, we're doing something we've dreamed about for years, a whole Fall by Rail series, riding some of the most scenic trains across the USA during peak leaf-peeping season. We're kicking things off in New England, where autumn just feels like it was made for trains. Cozy little towns, gold and crimson hills, historic railways, and as we're about to find out, some very good food along the way. Honestly, we saved the real showstopper for the finale of the episode. Welcome to episode 1 of Fall by Rail, our cozy, awkward, slightly leaf-obsessed adventure through New England. Welcome to New England! I can't believe I just said that. A New England trip has been in the back of my mind forever. I've heard that it's one of the most magical parts of the world to experience the fall, and lucky for me, this part of the world has some pretty epic trains. Fall is my favorite season of all the seasons, and everything fall just makes me happy. I think it's the ultimate season to use the word cozy. In fact, that's probably why I like it so much. Oh my gosh.
That's huge.
Oh my gosh. Our first real stop on the Fall by Rail adventure is the little riverside town of Essex, Connecticut. Essex looks like it was designed for an autumn postcard. Clapboard houses, tree-lined streets, and a historic station that feels frozen in time. We came here for the Essex steam train and riverboat, but the town itself is just as charming and worth lingering around for a while. This place is so cute. The line we're riding today was first built as the Connecticut Valley Railroad back in the 1870s. For nearly a century, it carried passengers and freight along the river until service eventually stopped around the late 1960s. In the 1970s, a group of rail enthusiasts decided to bring it back to life as a heritage line. Today, the Valley Railroad Company keeps the steam trains running so we can all step back into a slower, more scenic kind of travel. The Essex steam train runs vintage locomotives pulling restored passenger carriages. On most days, you can ride in the standard coaches or upgrade to a first-class car with plushier seats. In summer, they even add open-air carriages. Their star engine is number 40, apparently, which is built in 1920, a true workhorse of the steam era and now one of only a couple of hundred operational steam engines left in the United States. On a busy day, it can burn through about 2 tons of coal just to make the trip. The journey itself is a narrated 12-mile round trip that begins at the historic Essex station. This line follows the Connecticut River, winding past marshes, woodlands, and the small towns of Deep River and Chester. One of the highlights along the way is Selden Neck State Park, a wild, undeveloped island in the middle of the river. You glimpse at it from the train window on the outbound run, and then later sail right past it again when you board the riverboat. About halfway through the experience, you leave the train and step onto the dock to board the Becky Thatcher, a classic riverboat. The boat glides along a calm stretch of the Connecticut River with forested hills rising on both sides. Now, we were here late September and the colours hadn't quite come out in full bloom just yet. We did get talking to a local and he said you can expect the orange and yellows to pop up down here around mid-October. So we were a little bit early, but don't worry. We come at just the right time as we head north. Back on shore, we took time to wander around Essex Village itself. The streets are so adorable. They're lined with Federal era and early Victorian buildings, white painted churches, antique shops, and old street lamps. I really love how everybody really gets into the Halloween theme here. It's the sort of town where you can just slow down and notice all the little details. For lunch, we went to the Griswold Inn, which has been welcoming travellers since 1776, and it claims to be one of the oldest continuously operating inns in the United States. We both ordered the salmon tacos, which was a special that day. We just expected them to be fine, but nothing special, and then we couldn't stop talking about them for the rest of the afternoon. They were that good. We could easily have stayed in Essex for the whole afternoon, but our autumn rail journey had only just begun. From this quiet New England village, we headed north toward Vermont in search of more colours, more cosy trains, and a mountain climbing railway that turned out to be the star of the trip. Perfect start in Essex, it was time to keep moving north. Our next train rides were waiting further up in New England. But first, a little road trip pit stop. We decided to break up the drive in the college town of Northampton, Massachusetts. I'd been Googling the best coffee stops along the way, as you do when you're on a fall road trip, and kept seeing this place pop up. Familiar's Coffee and Tea. Turns out, it is not just a coffee shop. It's inside a beautifully restored old train station. The space still has the original wood beams. We ordered what had to be the most fitting drink for the season, our first pumpkin spice latte of the trip. That first sip, hot, spiced and slightly sweet, it felt a little like an autumn milestone. We looked at each other and agreed fall had officially begun. From there, we carried across the Vermont border to Brattleboro. It's a small town that sits along the Connecticut River and feels like a mix of mountain town charm with super duper trendy artsy college town vibes. We'd booked a night at the One Cat B&B. And yes, the listing literally advertised its resident cat. And it turned out to be exactly what we needed after a long day of driving between train rides. Quirky, homey, with just enough personality to feel like you'd stepped into someone's real home. Because I think it was actually their home, but they lived out the back, so yeah. We spend the evening wandering around Brattleboro's streets. It's the kind of town where every block seems to have something interesting tucked in. Vintage clothes shops, like so many of them, secondhand bookstores, cozy cafes, bars with live music, and little corners filled with plants and art. It's beautiful. I kept catching myself about to say the word cute for the 100th time, and then I kept trying to come up with another word for it. It was definitely worth the trip. Ludvig, yes. I don't want to stay here for just one night. We've got the most delicious looking Vermont cheddar and ghost cheese omelette with all of the veggies, local bacon, and we've got blueberry pancakes and English muffins that our host has baked himself. This is insane. Oh, and local cider. We crossed into New Hampshire, and this is where the fall colours absolutely exploded. The roads were lined with fiery maples and golden birch trees, the kind of colours that make you gasp out loud and then immediately ask if you can pull over for just one more photo. Ludvig, he wasn't having any of it. Every turn revealing another postcard perfect view. I just could not stop taking videos, guys. Ludi, are you believing your eyeballs right now?
No. Pretty beautiful, all right.
Our next train ride was one we'd been looking forward to for weeks, the Conway Scenic Railroad. It shows up on pretty much every list of top fall train rides in America, and now we can finally see why. Another day, another train. Today it's Conway Scenic Railroad. We've found ourselves here in North Conway, which is actually a gigantic place. Like, you have everything you could possibly want here. There's a Walmart, there's a Chipotle, there's McDonald's, there is supermarkets, there's even a TJ Maxx. So many hotels. This feels like a big deal. I do think that this is a real big ski destination by the sounds of it. We booked what's called the Mountaineer Trip, the longer route that winds all the way up through Crawford Notch in the White Mountains. The scenery here is unreal. Deep valleys, covered bridges, mountain peaks, and it's Autumn at its absolute peak. When we were in Essex, and I got a little bit worried about, did I book the wrong time of year? Oh my goodness, is this Fall by Rail series going to fail with no fall colours? And then I saw this, and then all worries just drifted away. How are you finding this terrain, my lovely husband?
Bumpy, but comfy.
Cool. So there is a guy talking us through everything on the speaker the whole entire time. He is extremely monotone, and honestly his voice is setting me to sleep. It's sending us both to sleep.
Soothing.
It's soothing, but I'm not learning anything because I just feel like sleeping when I'm listening to his voice, to be honest. So I'm probably gonna research all of the facts after this train because I'm not learning anything right now. Did you learn anything yet?
There was a bridge made of steel that once upon a time was not, but now it is.
The Conway Scenic runs a mix of vintage locomotives and classic passenger cars from the mid 20th century. There's this wonderful old-time railway feel, creaky carriages, brass fixtures, and that faint scent of oil and wood polish that just feels right for fall. We booked some seats in the first class car thinking it would make the experience extra special, and honestly it was comfortable, but we both agreed coach would have been just as good. The real luxury here is outside the window, and first class was quite busy and crammed. However, the dome car looked like it would have been incredible. It was unfortunately sold out completely on the days we were there, so I guess if you want to do the dome car, you want to book early. About 90 minutes. We're at a place called Crawford Notch. So about 90 minutes into our journey, we had about half an hour here to explore. I see why they take you here in the fall. Holy moly, this place is beautiful. The trees look like a painting surrounding us. The colors are just amazing. It's quite hard to catch this on camera, I think. Half an hour here, a quick look around, time to use the loo, and basically we're back on the train. However, the locomotive did go from that end, so we've been on the left for the journey here. They just detached the locomotive and they've now driven it down here and attached it on this side. So unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to have the amazing views that the people on the right-hand side had, because I'm assuming we're in the same seat still. There was some incredible scenery out the right side coming here, so hopefully the people on that side won't mind us kind of leaning over them to get some shots of that side, but we shall see. So literally just after we reboarded, our attendant made an announcement that they have a little tradition here on the Scenic Railroad, and that is that you swap seats with the person across from you. So that's great. I was really worried about missing the views on this side, and that cleared up all of my concerns. We were at the very front on the way there, however, on the return journey, we were seated at the very back of the train, and honestly, that turned out to be the best seat of all. So maybe the first class seats are worth it if you find yourself at the back of the train. Watching the whole train track snake its way through the mountains, and all of the trees and everything lighting up in that autumn beauty, it just felt so cinematic. We sat there quietly, or actually totally not quietly. I was saying, wow, oh my gosh, wow, the entire time. Ludvig was quite quiet though. One thing we were really excited about was the lunchbox. It sounded like such a cute idea. A scenic mountain train with a cozy autumn picnic on board. In reality, not so much. Let's just say it wasn't exactly gourmet. A few small snacks, something very beige, and we both kind of laughed and agreed it was definitely not worth the upgrade. It looked like it would have cost them about $2, and we paid about $20 each, I think. This does not look appealing to me. Stop and the grand finale of our New England adventure was the legendary Mount Washington Cog Railway. It's one of those bucket list trains that's hard to believe it actually exists. A tiny steam and biodiesel engine climbing straight up the side of the tallest mountain in the Northeast. Mount Washington is famous for its unpredictable weather. It's literally nicknamed the home of the world's worst weather, winds here have been clocked at over 230 miles an hour, and temperatures can drop to Arctic levels in the summer. Yet, somehow, every year around 100,000 people still make the climb to the summit, either by hiking or, like us, by train.
We've been a New Hampshire institution since 1869. We're now in our 156th year of operation. So give yourselves a nice round of applause for supporting a great piece of New Hampshire and American history. And equally as important on a personal level, you folks have provided me the best job in the world. My wife and I fell in love with the White Mountains back in the early 70s as teenagers. Yes, we're that old, but we're young at heart. And we always wanted to retire up here. We raised our family in Connecticut. So it's finally our turn. So this is not my retirement job, it's my retirement passion. So thank you. Okay, you're gonna have a 55-minute trip up, 55 minutes at the summit, and a 2.5-minute trip down.
We opted for the full summit route, even though they do offer a shorter autumn special that only goes up to halfway, just to focus on all of the fall colours. But we wanted to see it all while we were here, from the fiery trees at the base to the wild and very barren summit above the clouds. Our guide on board gave brilliant commentary the whole way. A mix of railway history, fun facts, and the occasional weather warning. Apparently the Cog Railway was the first mountain climbing cog railway ever built in the world, opening in 1869, and it's still running today. That's over 150 years of hauling passengers up Mount Washington, one creaky gear at a time.
Now we're going to start our journey today, folks, at 2,000 above sea level. We're going to top out at 6,288 feet. At the summit of Mount Washington, rising at an average grade of 25%, meaning for every 100 feet forward we go, we're going to be rising 25 feet in elevation. Now, coming up on the right is one of the optical illusions of our trip, and that is the halfway house, and that building is perfectly level. You wouldn't think it, but your brain tricks you because we've been climbing steadily, and everything around it is on an angle, but that building is perfectly level.
The colours near the base were absolutely unreal. Deep red maples, orange birch, bright yellow aspens, like the mountain was on fire in the best way possible. Everything was glowing. Right then and there, I was so glad that we made this trip. Once we reached the top, we had just about an hour to explore the Mount Washington summit. And it really does feel like another planet.
Welcome to Mount Washington State Park. We're here at the summit. We are currently experiencing 80-mile-per-hour winds. It is cold. No wonder they told us to bring some extra layers.
The ranger told us they don't get much wildlife up here, just a few birds, because the conditions, they're so extreme. There's a small museum, an observatory, a post office where you can send mail from the highest point in the northeast.
Here at the summit, we are at an elevation of 6,288, and I'm aware that I sound quite funny right now. My nose has gone completely blocked. So most of the mountainous area that can be seen from here, except for 60 acres of private land in the state park on the summit, is part of what's called the White Mountain National Forest. This 725,000 acre public property is managed for timber production, watershed protection, hunting, fishing, and outdoor recreation. Apparently there's quite a lot of awesome hikes around here. I think what we're going to do now is go outside, take a little gander at the view, and see what this place is all about. But I'm working up the courage to walk out there because it's darn cold. It is very windy. This is the one and only time you're going to probably see Ludvig in both a hoodie and pants. Are you finally cold up here?
No.
Standing up here in the wind, looking down at the fiery forests far below, it really hit me just how special this whole journey had been. Starting in the gentle riverside towns and ending up on the top of a mountain where the clouds race faster than cars. As the cogs started to rattle back down the mountain, everything around us just glowed. The hills were insanely beautiful. Oranges, yellows, golds, reds, greens. It honestly did not look real. I couldn't stop filming. Every time I thought I'd put the camera down, the light would shift again and I would be like, okay, just one more shot. But my cameras They were about to explode from the amount of footage I was taking. Booking the 4 p.m. trip turned out to be the best decision ever. It was the latest time we could book, and that late afternoon sun hit the mountains just perfectly, lighting up every single tree. It was just wow. Like, wow, 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 wow. Hands down, this was my absolute favourite ride in all of New England, and apparently we also got ridiculously lucky with the timing of the foliage. Peak colour and perfect weather in everything. Total autumn magic.
Well, that was just terrific. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a good trip. Yeah, very beautiful. Perfect time of the year to do this with all the foliage, whatever it is. The colors were on point. That's the end of this episode of the series. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Yeah,